Captain Mikko Salonen took a deep breath, held it, and then let it out slowly. This was not the most complicated mission he had been given, but it did have some unique challenges. But it would not do for a captain of the Blue Star Navy to look nervous before the battle even began. He checked the plot. Out there, across the infinite dark, was High Pirata, the largest pirate base in the sector. At any one time, over 30 ships could be moored there, either fresh from a raid, preparing for a raid, or enjoying the spoils of their raids. Today, luck was with him. There were only 10 ships, as 20 had just left to raid the planet of Neo-Keto. He snorted to himself. Fine, it wasn't really luck, so much as the rumor that mysteriously started spreading that the Neo-Keto Navy had to send their ships off to fight in a border dispute, and there would be a small window before the mercenaries of the Blue Star Navy showed up to pick up the slack. The pirates had jumped at a chance to raid the juicy target. Even after the recent immigration, Neo-Keto still had a population that was 67% female, after all. The rumor was false, of course. A red herring to draw the pirates out. The admiral had hoped that all of the ships in port would take the bait, but they were not to be that lucky, it seemed. No matter. 10 ships, plus whatever defenses the station itself had. Not exactly great odds for a single corvette, but his Ciro Nerio had seen worse odds. In a stand-up fight, he'd be destroyed for sure. But he wasn't worried. The pirates couldn't hit what they couldn't see. The Ciro Nerio may have a few years on her, and more than a few battles, but it was still as stealthy as they come. Full power to primary weapon. Rails energized, Captain. Ready to fire. The key to stealth in space was emissions control. There was no jungle to hide you, no convenient crowd to get lost in. A stray impulse, a bit of waste heat radiated in the wrong direction, anything of the sort could be the difference between detection and completing their mission. And if there was one thing that was certain, it was that firing a rail gun running most of the length of his ship put out a very large spike in the ambient EM radiation. The only saving grace was that it moved at light speed and was rather directional, thanks to the design of the gun. Because of the physics involved, the station wouldn't see them, even when they fired. But the pirates weren't stupid. They had satellites out, in stealth, as pickets. He had no way of aiming his shot without at least one satellite catching it, and destroying the satellites would simply put the pirates on alert. One satellite was in position to see him when he fired. The light of his first shot would take 30 minutes to reach the satellite. Because of FDL communications, the station would receive the information almost instantly at that point. News of his attack would reach the station in 30 minutes. The bullet would reach the station in 15. And if he timed the engines just right, the second, fired 10 minutes later, would arrive 20 minutes after the first shot was fired. Then, the games would begin. The captain breathed in. Breathed out. Breathed in. Held it. Let his heart turn to ice. In this moment, he was death itself, even if the pirates didn't know it yet. Fire 1. Shot away. Rails recharging. There was a shudder that was more psychological than physical as the massive gun fired, sending a 20-kilogram tungsten rod downrange at speeds that could be considered a significant fraction of the speed of light. Accelerate according to the calculations. Underway. It would have been ideal to stack the attacks so that they arrived at the same time. That wasn't possible, not if he wanted to remain hidden for as long as possible. But he could use the gravity of the gas giant between him and the base to arrange for the shots to hit close enough together that they would hit before the enemy even knew he was there. If it worked, the velocities would bring him in line for the third target, the third shot, without being seen. Rails recharged, Captain, ready to fire. Helm? In position in 20 seconds, Captain. Firing to computer control. Fire when in position. A second half-felt, half-imagined shudder. A second round left the barrel of his rifle. And they were still invisible for another few minutes. Cut engines. Maneuvering thrusters, minimal use. Recharge the rails. Cut engines. Aye, Captain. They drifted now, no friction to slow them down. The laws of inertia were absolute, even in a world of spaceships and science fiction. The thrusters did nothing to stop the assassin-class corvette, only turned it slightly, lining it up for the third shot. 5 minutes after the second shot, the spy satellites they had slipped into the system earlier sent them the visuals. Their first shot hit one of the exposed sections of the base. It wasn't the command center, that was hidden safely inside the rock, but it was the communications center and docking control. It was destroyed utterly, along with the pirates' long-distance FDL comm array. There would be no reinforcements coming, not in time. Rails recharged, Captain. Firing to computer control. Fire when ready. Leaving firing to the computers felt wrong, somehow, but it was necessary. Powerful as the human eye and the human brain were, they were simply not equipped to calculate ballistic trajectories in 3 dimensions using gravity assist from multiple bodies, at different starting velocities, at ranges that were measured in light minutes. That thought was made moot shortly after, as the third shudder happened. Helm, 20 degrees starboard, C minus 6 degrees. 3-second burn, then back to silent running. Charge the rails, update firing solutions once the pirates figure out what's coming. Aye, Captain. Looking for brown smears in space. That got a laugh. He allowed it. His crew was professional, and a bit of a laugh was good for morale. Especially at the expense of pirates. Second shot is a good hit, Captain. The primary docks are toast. No fighters joining the party. Good. And the pirate ships? Energy readings building up, but not uniform, and only 5 of them. They're pretty shaken up, looks like. Perdiers probably thought they were safe in their secret base. Time until they're operational? 10-15 minutes, Captain. Maybe more, if they're on skeleton crews and bad maintenance. Their drives were stone cold. Captain Salonen smirked. So, 20 minutes. Pirates always had poor maintenance, and even if a full shift was left on the ship, they wouldn't be sober, not in port. Plenty of time. Time until rails charged? 30 seconds, Captain? Estimated time to target. Tango 3? 15 minutes at current speeds. Lock on, fire 4. The shudder came again, at the same moment that the third target, a cloud scoop harvesting fuel from the gas giant, exploded violently as the rail gun hit it straight in the fuel refinery. Rails recharging, Captain. Thrusters, C plus 12 degrees, port 10 degrees. Use Spy Satellite 2, and transmit the customary greeting. Across the system, the following message was played, in the clear, pirate vessels, you are under the guns of the Blue Star Navy. Surrender or die Cironario. The initial shock of the message echoed through the void, a stark reminder of the fate that awaited the pirates if they dared to resist. Captain Salonen watched the data feed from the spy satellites with a cold, calculating eye. The pirates' response was predictable chaos. Captain, we're picking up comms chatter. They're trying to organize, but it's a mess, reported his communications officer, Lieutenant Griffin. Good. Keep monitoring. Helm, prepare for evasive maneuvers. We might not stay hidden for long, Salonen ordered. The tactical display showed the enemy ships scrambling to get their systems online. Some managed to power up their engines, while others were still floundering. The lack of coordination was evident, and Salonen knew he had to capitalize on this disarray. Rails charged, Captain. Ready to fire, announced the weapons officer. Target the most operational ship. Fire 5, Salonen commanded. The now familiar shudder reverberated through the ship as another tungsten rod was launched into the void. The seconds ticked by with excruciating slowness until the data confirmed a hit. The lead pirate ship, a frigate, was torn apart by the impact, adding to the confusion among the remaining vessels. Direct hit, Captain? The frigate is down, reported Griffin. Excellent. Helm, execute evasive maneuvers. Keep us in the shadow of the gas giant, Salonen ordered. As the Cironario shifted position, the pirates' frantic attempts to locate their unseen assailant grew increasingly desperate. With each passing minute, the enemy's capacity to mount a coordinated defense dwindled. Captain, we've intercepted a transmission. It seems some of them are considering surrender, said Griffin. Broadcast our terms? They must power down their weapons and engines and prepare to be boarded, Salonen replied. The message was sent, and the waiting game began. Salonen knew that fear could be as potent a weapon as any railgun. The pirates were cornered, outgunned, and facing a foe they couldn't see. It was only a matter of time before their resolve crumbled. Captain, we're getting confirmation. 2 ships have powered down. They're signaling surrender, Griffin reported. Salonen allowed himself a small smile. Good. Helm, bring us closer but keep us hidden. Let's see if we can encourage the others to follow suit. The Ciro Nerio glided silently through the darkness, closing in on the pirate ships that had surrendered. The remaining vessels, seeing the futility of their situation, began to follow suit, one by one. Captain, all pirate ships have powered down. They're surrendering, Griffin confirmed. Very well. Launch boarding parties and secure the ships. Ensure there are no traps, Salonen ordered. As the boarding parties moved in to secure the pirate vessels, Salonen allowed himself a moment of satisfaction. The mission had been a success. High Pirata, the notorious pirate base, was neutralized, and its defenders had been brought to their knees without a single shot fired in direct combat. Captain, Admiral Lachlan is requesting a status update, Griffin said. Salonen nodded. Patch her through. Admiral Lachlan's stern visage appeared on the view screen. Captain Salonen, report. Admiral, the mission was successful. High Pirata has been neutralized, and the pirate ships have surrendered. Our boarding parties are securing the vessels as we speak, Salonen reported. Excellent work, Captain. This will send a strong message to the rest of the sector. Return to base once you've secured the area. Lachlan out. The screen went dark, and Salonen turned to his crew. You heard the Admiral. Secure the area and prepare for our return. As the crew set to work, Salonen allowed himself a moment to reflect on the mission. The use of stealth and precision had been key to their success. In the vast expanse of space, where battles could be won or lost before the first shot was fired, the Ciro Nerio had proven its worth once again. With the pirate threat neutralized, the Blue Star Navy had struck a decisive blow against lawlessness in the sector. And Captain Mikko Salonen, with his cool demeanor and strategic mind, had once again led his crew to victory.